Hello everyone, my name is Catherine Hurt and I am a junior in Lyman Briggs College from Michigan State University studying animal science. My research presentation is regarding cats in shelters and my project title is A Ray of Hope, investigating the effect of light composition on shelter cat welfare. My mentors for this project are Dr. Jacqueline Jacobs and Dr. Hannah Hoffman. To give some background, 3.2 million cats enter the United States shelters each year, and only half of them are adopted. In addition, almost 1 million cats are euthanized in shelters each year. Some of these cats are healthy adults that are overlooked by potential adopters due to their undesirable behavior in the shelter. These are some reasons why we are performing this research. This project takes place at Ingham County Animal Shelter in Mason, Michigan, in a room in which cats await to become adopted. This room is called the holding room and is where cats are housed for 5 days before they become the property of the shelter. Once they become property of the shelter, they can be moved to the adoption room. For this period of time, they are enrolled in our research study. So, what makes a cat eligible to be enrolled in our project? A cat must be 6 months of age or older. A maximum of 12 cats can be enrolled in the study due to the number of smart collars we use to monitor them. There are several exclusion criteria factors for why cats cannot be enrolled in this project. First, a cat cannot be pregnant or with a litter. It cannot live in a group housing or determined unhealthy by the shelter veterinarian. Finally, the cats cannot be 9 years of age or older or have any vision impairment. There are 3 goals in this research project. The first aim is to identify the shelter light conditions for domestic cats to decrease their stress levels and increase their social interactions. The second goal of this study is to determine the impact of the light conditions on the cat's hiding behavior. And finally, the third aim is to determine how this light impacts their human experiences and impacts their adaptability. To our knowledge, no studies have addressed how indoor lighting conditions impact cat welfare and behavior. This study will be performed to try to maximize the amount of time cats spend toward the front of the kennel toward potential adopters. The portion of my presentation today will focus on Aim 1, identifying the shelter light conditions for domestic cats to decrease their stress and increase their social interactions. Animal shelters typically use bright indoor lighting that is better adapted for human visual preferences than cats. In order to assess the lighting conditions in domestic cats, we will manipulate the lighting conditions in the cat holding room. There are 3 kinds of lighting conditions. The first lighting condition that will be analyzed is the control, the typical shelter light condition, which is 200 to 400 lux of white light. The second lighting condition is a lower light lux, that is 50 to 100 lux of white light. The final is a dimmer and red light condition, which is 200 to 400 lux of red light. Cats are nocturnal creatures, and studies have shown that their vision is best suited to dim lighting. We hypothesize that reducing cat-aversive light conditions, meaning the bright white light, will increase cats' social interactions with humans. In order to analyze cats' social interactions, we will be using 3 types of assessment. The first assessment will be a behavioral stress assessment. The stress score we will be using is called the cat stress score. The second assessment will be a collection of urine to test the cat's urine cortisol levels. The third assessment will be analyzing the cat's activity via an accelerometer. We will be using pet pace collars to monitor cats' heart rate variability, pulse, respiration, and activity levels. As mentioned in the previous slide, the stress score we will be using is the cat stress score. This is a 7-score system to analyze a cat's stress. This system is validated to be representative of stress in cats based on behavioral markers, and it is validated through literature. Here's a breakdown of the cat stress score. This score from Cashler and Turner in 1997 is a range from 1 being fully relaxed to 7 being terrified. There are different categories of assessment, including a cat's body, stomach, legs, tail, head, eyes, pupils, ears, whiskers, vocality, and activity. These categories allow us to further determine a cat's level of stress. The I in the chart shows when a cat is inactive, and the A is for when a cat is active. When performing behavior assessments, consistency between myself and the other scorers is very important. In order to be consistent, we have a protocol for how to record and approach a cat's kennel. First, we stand 3 feet away for 3 seconds and pause. Then, we approach and extend our hand. Our cat's stress score will be a total average of these 3 approach assessments. The goal ultimately is for myself and the other scorers to match each other and have replication of our approach. Now I will play a video to demonstrate how we score cats. Here's the first scoring example of a cat named Sturgis. Some things to notice are that he was active, alert, rolling on his back, and is approaching the cage upon human interaction. He is rubbing his face on the kennel to try to get human interaction. This would be a cat stress score of 1, indicating the cat is fully relaxed. Here's a second scoring example of a cat named Bella. Bella is alert, her eyes are open, her stomach is not exposed, and her ears are forward. However, she has some avoidance in her eyes toward the end of the video. She's also crammed in the upper corner of her kennel, so this would be a cat stress score of 3, meaning she is weakly tense. Here's a third scoring example of a cat named Hopper. Hopper has a hunchback with his eyes open and ears flattened. He has a very stiff face, a plaintive meow, and his whiskers are pointed backwards. Overall, Hopper is a cat stress score of 5, meaning he is fearful and very stiff. The second tool of assessment I mentioned earlier involved urine collection to determine urinary cortisol. Daily samples are collected between 2 and 4 p.m. and immediately frozen at -20 degrees Celsius. We use a cortisol assay kit from Enzo Life Sciences to determine the urine cortisol to creatine ratio. The final tool of assessment is a smart collar called PetPace. This collar is placed on up to 12 cats in our research study at one time. These collars are designed to monitor cats' heart rate variability, pulse, respiration, and activity levels. The graph on the left demonstrates the use of the PetPace collar. We can record these readings every 2, 15, or 30 minutes. In this study, we will be recording readings every 15 minutes. This graph displays the cat's activity levels one day between 11:45 and 12 p.m. Here's a breakdown of a week in this project. Starting at day 0, we video record cats in their cages for a behavioral assessment. We then place PetPace collars on each cat that is enrolled, and we fill their litter box with the Kit for Cat hydrophobic sand, which will help us collect their urine. We leave their box out for 24 hours. On day 1, we video record the cat in the cage for behavioral assessment. We obtain their urine sample and replace their litter box with the hydrophobic sand. We continuously enroll new cats and start at day 0 every single day of the week. We continue this through days 1 through 3. Following on day 4, we follow steps 1 through 3 and then remove their PetPace collar, which will ultimately unenroll them from the study. To give a timeline for this project, March 19th was our pilot week where we troubleshooted urine collection, approach testing, and PetPace collars. March 26th was our official day 1 of data collection, and we are now using the control, the typical shelter light conditions, for the duration of 2 weeks. Starting April 9th, we will continue for the duration of 2 weeks to manipulate the light to 500 to 100 lux of white light. Starting April 23rd, we will manipulate the light conditions again and do 200 to 400 red lux light for the duration of 2 weeks. We will repeat these conditions throughout the summer of 2021. Data collection is ongoing throughout the spring semester. I would like to acknowledge and thank Dr. Jacqueline Jacobs and Dr. Hannah Hoffman, my mentors for this project, and I would also like to thank Skylar Mack and Alexandra Yaw for helping me with data collection. In addition, we would like to thank Ingham County Animal Shelter for allowing us to have the opportunity to hold this research at their shelter. Thank you very much.